What's up everybody, Huang Zero here, and today I have some Alphamon versus Shine Greymon gameplay for you. This matchup is very interesting because Shine Greymon, being one of the titans of the BT13 format, actually has I would almost say a direct counter in the form of all the DP protection Alphamon does have for itself. Alphamon is a deck that, as you know, was arguably the best deck in the format during BT9 and is now resurfaced in BT13 using all of its new support. And so into the matchup, we do see that the Shine Greymon player goes ahead and uses Agumon Heart Slam because it grabs the entire evolution line plus the Marcus. They only hit one thing, but using Geo Greymon, they are able to fish through the security and get a free Marcus, and it's such a powerful effect. Meanwhile, on our end, we're going to go ahead and we're going to evolve into Doruga plus the Black Memory Boost because we're just trying to set up. We want to make it so that we're able to evolve into our Doru Greymon to guarantee the DP protection and then set up for our future plays. So going into our turn, if you notice, this is a level 7, or not level 7, but this is 7 play cost, right? So it's actually in range of Oriumon, so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to look for that play. Even though he is stacking back, we're not afraid because this Doru Grey does afford us DP protection, but unfortunately we actually whiff on it. So no DP protection for us, so we do have to be a little bit more mindful about how we're going to go about doing this. Right now, I'm kind of just like thinking about like the different like processes that I could do. Like for example, I could just chill on this turn and then look to you know, play a body, or I could look to stack the X-Antibody and then swing out and do this play, but instead I've just opted to straight evolve into this, and then I'm going to go ahead and tuck my level 4 underneath, which will then allow us to pop a 7 cost or lower Digimon. So we actually punish the Rise Greymon here. So if you notice, the Shine player greeted for their Tamer because they Heart Slam level 3 into the Geo Grey that plays a Tamer for free, and then we were able to effectively punish that using our Oriumon. So this really just goes to show you that you have to be a little bit more mindful and aware when you are playing that Shine Greymon, when you can greed for those Tamers and when you shouldn't. Going into this, he does set up the Geo Greymon stacking back. He has the Agumon as well. It's a little bit hard for us to actually get rid of this, so we're going to go ahead and evoke Tsunariza in our raising area, and Tsunariza is such a phenomenal card in this style of matchup. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to swing out, and using the X-Antibody, we're going to evolve into the Oryukin mode mid-combat, which will pop the Agumon. Oryukin mode's going to swing for 2 damage because of the Tsunarizamon putting us into that threshold, restanding off the Oryumon, and then Oryukin mode effect is going to activate. But I do remember, as I'm doing this, I actually remember the fact that I can resolve the Doru Greymon's end of turn effect prior to the Oryukin effect. So you'll notice that I'm restacking this because I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use Doru Greymon to stack a Dorumon to gain an additional memory prior to this entire combo resolving. And then now we're going to go ahead and use the Oryukin Rewinds ability. We're going to put 5 cards back into our deck, and then we're going to leave the remaining. So now we are back at 2 memory. And then we could choose to swing out here, which we do because it's still 2 damage thanks to our Tsunariza, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to Congo our opponent. Congo prevents his Marcus from actually swinging out, and also prevents his Geo Greymon from swinging, and he's just going to go ahead and concede game 1. So moving on to game 2. Alright, so going into game 2, a couple of adaptations that the Shine Greymon definitely has to make is, number 1, you have to be much more conscious of the DP protection that the Alphamon has. Not only that, but you also have to be aware of the Oriumon pop. Oriumon being able to pop 7 cost or less makes it so that if you try and get really greedy with your stacks, you're very open to getting punished. So we have a really solid opener actually in the form of Doruga plus Cool Boy, and then we have the Doru Grey and Dex Doru Grey as well, so we can not only proc our Cool Boy, but we can also get our DP protection up. So this is a very fantastic opener on our end. Our opponent's going to go ahead, the standard Shine opener, he's going to go ahead, Hard Slam the Agumon to go ahead and grab some additional pieces. He doesn't find the Marcus, but he does find the Geo Greymon that fishes from security anyway. So that's something that you really just have to be mindful of. And I realize, let me go ahead and actually speed this up. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and play Cool Boy. We're going to choke him we're going to choke him to 1. This cycles, we don't fortunately find like super great pieces, but we do grab the Oriumon, and he recognizes this, so you know, you can try and play around this a little bit more. Notice that he doesn't commit into a no like hard committal here. It's just a pretty standard like Geo Grey, get out a free Tamer. You have stacking back. Like if I commit into the Oriumon, I can't even go into the Oryu, right? It's gonna be like really difficult for me to get there. Recognizing this, I opt to just go for the Memboost instead because I'm looking for my Alphamon, so I can look for an Oryukin play. But at this point, notice that both players are being a little bit more conservative about how they're playing. At this point, I realize that I'm gonna have a much better time if I secure a really solid, like huge setup turn. And on his end, he wants to ensure that he's not just walking into some random form of removal that I might have at my disposal. You know, normally when you think of Alphamon, you're like, oh, the Oryukenmon is Oryuken mode is gonna be what punishes me, and then the reality is, oh no, Oryumon can very much so do that as well. So evolves into GeoGreymon in the back, and then he's going to commit the Rise Greymon onto his board. This will allow him to get the free Marcus and choke me as well. So notice that he's already established the level 4 and back, so even if I were to punish this level 5, he will be able to respond very quickly with the GeoGreymon in the back. We go ahead and we evo into Dorugreymon. Dorugreymon luckily does hit a target. We do find the Alphamon, gets to put under the bottom of our stack. And we do have the Dorumon as well, so I should draw for that. I don't remember if I actually do or not. Yep, okay, there it is. Perfect. And then now we do have the DP protection, so no matter what we do on the following turn, we're actually going to be safe from our opponent. I believe here, I'm contemplating going into the Dex Dorugray, or if I'm going straight into the Oryumon. The reason why you contemplate the Dex Dorugray is if you want to get the additional draw at this point, but I decided to hold it for my follow-up play, just because I want to guarantee a way to proc the Cool Boy on my follow-up turn. Go ahead, Oryumon is going to pop his stack, and then yeah. But in hindsight, I definitely should have, instead of discarding the level 4 for the Dex Doruga play, I definitely should have discarded the level 7 instead to guarantee that I have it in hand, and you're definitely going to see that the misplay is going to come and bite me a little bit in the ass going forward. But at this point, I was feeling very confident that I was going to be safe, right? I felt very confident. He goes ahead, double Agumon, a lot of searching. He gets the BT12 Shine Greymon. It's really scary. But here we have like an abundance of rookies. We have an abundance of 5s. You notice we're kind of missing our 4, which, you know, like I said, I'm definitely going to regret it a little bit. This is for 2 damage, and we do hit not only the Marcus, but we also hit the Burst Mode. So the Burst Mode is going to go ahead and wipe our entire Oryumon stack, but at this point, I'm still feeling pretty okay. As long as we get that level 4 and then build up, we should be able to just seal out the game, especially since we have the Congo. I'm going to cash in my boost. I'm going to Congo to make sure that it isn't able to push for damage, and I'm going to drop the Yuji on top. In hindsight, what I definitely should have done is I should have evoed into the Dex Dorug, or actually I can't, JK. I was thinking that was Dex Doruga in hand. It's not Dex Doruga, I have no level 4, so my only play is really just to either Yuji or Hard Slime the Dorumon. In hindsight, I should have played the Dorumon, but after filtering through like 6 or 7 cards, I was like, in my head, I was like, okay, there's no way I don't hit the level set, like the level 4, so my hope was pull Yuji, pull out, draw off of Yuji, and then hit the level 4. Like, that's the thought process I had. In hindsight, I should have dropped the Dorumon hard to guarantee that I had a line of play. But by doing so, I'm losing out on 1 memory on the following turn, and without a memory tamer, that is a little bit scary. So a lot to consider right now, to be honest with you know, everyone watching at home right now. So there's a lot of things that in my mind that are going through. GeoGreymon, he checks his security, doesn't grab anything, so that tells me that either there's not a Marcus, or he wants me to hit it from security for whatever reason. Gonna go ahead, the Rise Greymon evolves for 2 because he does gain a memory, and I draw 2 cards and no level 4. So I have one last chance to actually try and get that level 4 into my hand, and it's going to hinge on a couple of things. Number 1, I'm going to go ahead and I have the Yuji. The Yuji will allow me to tuck a card on swing, and by doing so, that is an extra draw because of the Dorumon. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to tuck the Dorumon underneath. We do draw into a level 4, and it has to live. It doesn't, unfortunately, live. We do hit a Shine Greymon, so that is going to kill our stack. If that stack had survived, we would have been able to evolve into a 4 and then popped off of that, which could have given us a potentially a nice recovery play, but in this case, we actually do draw into the Hybrid, and the Hybrid makes for some very interesting scenarios because we do have the Yuji on board. So we can go into our Hybrid, which we go ahead and do. And so we can build all the way up because of the memory boost, which allows us to go into the Dorugray. We do hit the Dorumon, so we do have DP protection as well. It gives us an additional memory. We're going to evolve into the Dex Dorugray, pops the Agumon, triggers Cool Boy. We're going to do, you know, all that good stuff. Go to 2 memory, and then now we can go into the Alphamon, and Alphamon will prevent his Shine Greymon from actually swinging out. And then from there, we hope that the 5 security is going to be enough to keep us safe. This Alphamon is going to be 13k. with all the inheritables and everything like that. And so being at 13k means that he needs a level 7 to actually swing and kill our Alphamon stack, because we are DP protected, right? So here, I did put the Dorugamon, but then I realized, oh wait, I have the... I have Dorugray in hand, which will allow me to put the Dorugamon into my stack anyway at the end of turn. So I opt to grab the Oryumon instead, so that way I can have guaranteed lethal on the following turn. And so here, he has double Marcus, he has 2 stacks. I just have to hope that he does not have a way to actually force damage. But the really scary part here is because this Alphamon, Alphamon is only 10 cost or higher cannot swing. So all of his Marcuses are, you know, free to actually just swing out on me. So we're going to go ahead. He is, I believe, he's just trying to figure out like his course of lethal. All of these Marcuses are 2 damage as well. So there's a lot of damage just swinging out my way. Here's the 2 damage. He's looking for the Evo. He goes, grabs a free Rise X, plays out another Marcus. That Marcus will give him an additional memory. Hits the Alphamon, but it's not enough because that other Marcus is going to make it so it's a minus 12,000 DP. So these Alphamons are fundamentally 0 DP. Insecurity, he can go ahead, swing out the Rise X. That'll put me at 0. And then using the memory boost, he can play the Agumon hard, which will then convert the Marcus into a Digimon, which then can swing for game. So that game, a lot of back and forth going on. Definitely my misplay where I didn't keep the level 4 in hand, you know, that was definitely something that I should have been more aware of. It costed me a lot of things. I maybe have to take a much more risky line of play than I needed to. So something that I really just need to be aware of going forward. And so yeah, going into game 3. Alright, so going into game 3, I mean, this is like the culmination of everything, right? Our opening hand, our non-mulligan hand, we drew 3 Tsunarisa. Nope, that's a hard no for me. We're gonna go ahead and mulligan that back. And then we draw, you know, we draw a 4, we draw a 5, and draw a Tsunarisa. But the downside is no 6 or 7. And our level 5 that we did draw into is the Dex Dorugray, which isn't very phenomenal by itself. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to start off with the Dorugray evolution. We do luckily draw into the Dorugray, so that is our DP protection right there. So really fantastic, already a really strong opener. As long as we grab our level 6 eventually, we're in a really fantastic position. We're going to go ahead, we're going to see that yellow memory boost coming on down. Shine Greymon just trying to set up a play, but he does do, reveals the Sunrise, the yellow memory boost, the Marcus, and the burst mode. So the only valid target is going to be that burst mode, but knowing that he's not only down 1 Marcus, but also down that Sunrise is a little alleviating for me. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to memory boost of our own, because I do need to guarantee I have that 6. This will also allow me to guarantee I can evolve into the Dorugray without passing turn. And yes, we do find the BT13 Alphamon, the new goated card that prevents us from getting randomly OTK'd by like things like Mirage, right? So, it's our opponent's turn now. He does have the option to go for a Geogreymon if he wants to fish for a Marcus, but after having, you know, been punished by the Oryumon earlier on, probably doesn't want to, you know, fall victim to that again. So gonna go ahead, they're gonna look to choke us with the Agumon Searcher just to, you know, grab as many pieces as possible. Reveals double Geogreymon, Agumon in the Ruin mode. They're gonna go ahead and grab the Ruin mode, which, you know, tells me that they do have a level 4 already in hand. We're going to crack the boost. We're going to go into our Dorugreymon for 3, go to 0, reveal top 3. We do hit the one of Dorugreymon, which will then go into our stack. So now we have security attack +1 on our stack. And so don't have a way to pop. Actually, take it back, JK. Yes, we do have a way to pop the Dex Dorugreymon, because Dex Dorugreymon, pay 1, draw, discard, gain a memory, and then pop. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to discard the rookie because we already have the Tsunarisa to, you know, for the stack on the following. We're going to go ahead and pop the Agumon, and now we can look for that. We can either look for a memory boost, we can look for a Yuji, we can look for the Alphamon. There's an abundance of different ways that we can play out this turn, right? But we play the memory boost because we are DP protected, so it doesn't matter that us committing the Alphamon, really no need to right now, just because we already have that layer of protection. So I can just wait a turn before I go into that 6. I can guarantee I have an additional 2 memory to play with on my following turn. And I do grab the Tsunarisa-mon. Or actually, I believe I actually I think we stay with the Tsunarisa-mon. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay, so we stay with the Tsunarisa-mon. The reason why we stay with the Tsunarisa-mon is so we can have 1 in raising, and then if we need to, not only can we give our Alphamon piercing, but also we can use that extra Tsunarisa-mon on the follow-up play. But Shine Greymon player is going to go ahead, evolve into the Geogreymon, set the Marcus. The Marcus will be able to tap itself to... Oh, no, it can't tap itself, actually, because there's no Agumon or anything like that on the board, so it is going to be for 5 memory, but that is a memory tamer, so it's a little bit scary right there. evolve into the Tsunorizomon and back. That's going to go ahead and give us guaranteed Psych Attack +1 on our following stack. And then here we are going to evolve into the Alphamon that it will, by equipping the Dorumon, it prevents our opponent from swinging out 10 cost or higher. So no funny Shine Greymon shenanigans coming out. He also doesn't have the Marcus that allows you to evolve for free. Here, I'm going to play it a little bit slow. I've kind of just learned my lesson, right? Where in my head, I'm like, okay, the only way I get punished here, because I don't have DP protection anymore, is if I give him a free BT12 Marcus. If we hit the BT12 Marcus in security, we lose so much tempo for no reason, right? So instead, I've opted to just kind of like play it slow. Here, I completely forgot this Marcus is a memory tamer, so you'll see in just a bit that we actually go back a little bit and just take it back and just keep the boost, but still do the same play. So you see that in just a sec, but completely forgot. At this point, you know, we're still like practicing these decks. I haven't played Alphamon in a long time. I don't like fully like recognize Marcus art completely either, and so yeah, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna see a little bit of rewind, put it back on top, grab the Dorumon, put the boost back, and then yeah, we're gonna end up doing the same play at this point. Contemplating if I want to do the UG instead, because guarantee that we have the setup, but looking at my setup, I realized, oh, I need Oryuken, so yeah. Go ahead, same play, grab the level 4, so that way if we need fodder, we can go ahead, discard, and then grab, we still have guaranteed level 4 to play with, so now it's our opponent's turn. He is at 3. We do have the Alphamon's ability to prevent our opponent from actually swinging out here. So without BT12 Marcus, it's a little bit hard for them to climb, but they do have access to 5 memory, thanks to that memory boost, which can be a little bit terrifying. So we do have to be a little bit more conscious about what could happen. With Rise Greymon, Evo Rise Greymon, and then you could go ahead Evo into Shine Greymon from there, but if you Evo into Shine Greymon, that's only going to be minus 6,000 DP, which is not enough to kill Alphamon, unfortunately, even without the DP protection. Alphamon is currently sitting at 13,000 DP, so they're going to go ahead and just choke us out with that BT12 Marcus, trying to set that up, and we do draw into the Congo, which is such a phenomenal card. But here, my thought process here is I'm trying to like put my opponent into like a lethal threshold, make it so that they are in range for me to actually punish them on the following. We do hit a BT12 Marcus, which, you know, goes to show that if we get swung out on the previous turn, that we actually would have gotten punished. So really great, you know, decision making to not swing it there. But here I completely forget that Congo only prevents the opponent from swinging 7 cost or lower at the security, at the player. I completely forget that Congo doesn't prevent you from actually swinging at Digimon. And you'll see that this misplay is going to come up and bite me a little bit. So we're going to go ahead for 2 costs. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead play Congo. Congo is going to make it. In my head, I was like, oh, now he can't swing out his Marcuses. He can't get those free evolutions. We're in a really great position. Evo to the Dex Dorugray, and yeah, now we draw into the Oryu. We're in such a fantastic position. That was my thought process. Little did I realize I was about to get jumped by Marcus. And you see me, I'm even discarding my level 4 because I'm like, oh, I'm totally safe. Like, there's no way I get, like, punished here. But using the Doru Greymon's End of Turn ability, that will allow me to put a new X-Antibody card from my hand into the stack. I put the Dorumon into the stack, that gives an additional memory, and then I'm going to ahead and evolve into the Doru Greymon, which will give me another layer of DP protection onto the stack. So in my head, I'm like, okay, Congo's on play. He can't evolve for free. I have this really beefy Alphamon. I have a Doru Greymon stack with DP protection. We are in at a fantastic position. Like, how could this go terribly wrong? And that sentence alone, right there, is what comes to bite me in the ass a little bit. But we're still at 5 security, and it's not like we're taking a lot of damage this turn either because of the Congo, thankfully. So here you're going to see some really crazy stuff, not going to lie, happen. But towards the start of this turn, we're playing it out, and then like mid-turn we're like, oh wait, Congo only stops you from swinging at security. You can actually still swing at Digimon. So midway through the turn, you'll see us like go back a little bit and like redo that turn, just because we're like, oh, that interaction like changes everything, because now Marcus can still get his free Evo. Granted, Marcus gets his free Evo, but potentially doesn't heal, right? He has to have a very specific Rise Greymon to get that off. So we see, we see the memory boost, procs go to 5, and then it's gonna go ahead and Rise X and Rise X for 4, unfortunately, because it's really expensive. No Marcus in hand either to play for free, and you look at this board set and you're like, oh my gosh, no Rise X proc, no free swing, like, oh, this is like so fantastic, like we're such a great position, and then we're like talking about it and we're like, oh wait, you could swing into Alphamon, and we're like, oh no. Yeah, so here we see you take back the Rise X, put back the card you drew, and we're basically just going to reset the turn. Right, almost as if Oryukin had gone ahead and used his ability but like in the the wrong way. So crack the boost, go to 5, make both Marcuses into Digimon. So you see that he goes ahead and grabs. Is this at 2x speed? I just realized. It's not. Okay, that explains so much. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, so we go ahead and we go see the Marcus. we see the Marcus come on out. The Marcus is going to head swing. It's evolved into the Rise X. Marcus, is doing this thing. Get the free Rise X swings. It does die. This is not the Rise Greymon that heals the Marcus, unfortunately. This is going to pop the Dorumon thanks to the Geo Greymon effect whenever Tamer is suspended. Or not whenever Tamer is suspended, but due to Koromon, that will proc and then kill the Dorumon. So Dorumon was defeated. We do still have the Doru Greymon on the board. We have Alphamon still, and at this point, Alphamon is minus. He's 13k right now, and you want to make sure that Alphamon survives, so that way you can keep swinging into it to keep getting procs off. So at this point, we're just like kind of going back and forth, discussing like, oh, like what plays, that like what could happen, right? Because like I'm like, okay, well, I'm still DP protecting my Doru Grey stack. Like what's really like the worst that could happen, right? And little do I realize some crazy stuff happens. So we see the hard Shine Greymon come on out. He is going to apply the minus DP onto the Doru Greymon to guarantee that my stack, my Alphamon doesn't die, so that way he can swing into it. Swings into the Alphamon, get the free evolution into the Ruin Mode. The Ruin Mode does apply the minus 5,000 DP, and this is really important that Alphamon survives, because Alphamon survives, that means his Ruin Mode will be able to swing into the Alphamon and then pop not only the Alphamon stacks to all the DP minuses that's accumulated, but also the end of attack effect is going to pop itself and then pop the Doru Greymon effect, because that is not safe from anything. So now we are in a very, very interesting position because we've essentially just reset the board, right? So our opponent's going to go ahead. He has the opportunity to get the first initial hatch and Evo, plays the Agumon to start cycling some pieces, grabs a Marcus, grabs a Shine Greymon, and here we're also in the position where, oh, he only has Memory Tamer. I'm just going to go ahead and set my own play up, right? So here, you see me go ahead set double Yuji, because with double Yuji, that means when I pull out, I do gain 2 memory, so I'm guaranteed to be playing at 3 memory. And it also gives me an additional draw too, and with the double Yuji, that's the reason why I evolved into the Dorumon and not the Tsunariza, so that way I have the option to pull out on the turn and get all that memory value. So make sure that Yujis are online is really crucial at this stage in the game. Here, we see the Geo Greymon. The Geo Greymon does not actually play the Marcus for free because he does have a Marcus already on board, so we make sure that we correct that mistake. And then, looking at this right now, I still have 5 security. I'm still in a pretty good position just because I still have like all those layers of protection and everything like that, keeping me safe. He's going to go ahead and swing out his Agumon. It does die to the Oryumon, and then he's going to start evolving in back as well as set up the new Marcus. So now I have to make like some kind of power play, otherwise I'm going to get like cooked, right? So here, we see the Doruga effect, and we're going to go ahead and gain an additional memory off of the Dex Doruga effect. Doru Grey is going to come right on out. Doru Grey is going to find a Doruga that gets a plus 1,000 DP as well as DP protection. And I'm actually going to go, I'm running very low on deck at this point, right? I've cycled through so much of my deck, and here I'm contemplating, I'm like, okay, which Alphamon do I actually go into? Do I use a memory boost? Like, what is the line of play that I actually opt for here? And so, also do note that I believe I actually forget to trigger both the Doru and the Dori, but I think I triggered it like in just a second, so in the end it like works out. But here we do see the Alphamon. The Alphamon is going to head and grab back this, I believe oh yeah, okay, so I grab back the Doru Greymon with Sec Plus, and that, yeah. Okay, oh well. So we grab the Doru Greymon with Sec Plus because now we're swinging for 2 damage, and with Oryukin, with Oryukin, we can swing Guarantee, swing huge, and then we have the Yuji to tuck the Oryumon as well. But it doesn't matter because Doru Greymon effect is going to go ahead and tuck that Oryumon instead. So now we have the guaranteed double swing. So we're in a really great position because this Alphamon is not only DP protected, it prevents his Shine Greymon from swinging out. So it's just a really menacing stack that our opponent actually has to deal with. So really putting it on the back burner right now. He could go into the Rise Greymon, and yes, he could, he could swing out his Marcus. Fundamentally, that Geo Greymon gives you the additional memory to treat, to like basically cancel out the Marcus's pay cost. So he can go into he can go into Rise Greymon and then go into Shine Greymon for free. But by doing so, it doesn't necessarily like win the game. So here, yeah, we do see the Rise Greymon and then the Rise Greymon. Because he has his Tamer, he's gonna go ahead and yeah, he's just showing me that like, oh yeah, he paid for Marcus, he just didn't move it up. Rise Greymon for 2, Marcus swings, Marcus evolves into evolve into Shine Greymon. Checks for 2 because of the Shine Greymon effect, and then here we're gonna go ahead. I believe he's like calculating like a burst mode angle, because burst mode essentially represents 2 damage because you bounce back a Marcus and then the Marcus comes out with rush, swings, burn ones, and deals the damage. So there's the burst mode finally coming on down. He's contemplating it, but yeah, there it is. Okay, so there's the burst mode. He's gonna go ahead. He's gonna bounce back the Marcus. And yeah, he bounces back the Marcus. That gives you back a memory on swing. The burst mode, however, cannot swing thanks to us not only having retaliation blocker, but also having the Alphamon effect, right? And if you'd be like, okay, what if you block it out? If you block it out, then burst mode is just going to swing into us because burst mode can still swing at Digimon, right? Can't swing at players. So you're they're going to choke us using the memory boost, and they're really just hoping that I don't have anything, but this is Alphamon, baby. This is the Digimon that's going to rewind time. I stack my X antibody, gain a memory off the Dorumon, draw an extra card, and we're going to evolve into the Oryukin mode mid-combat that destroys the Shine Greymon. Oryukin mode, I'm debating if I want to use my Yuji effect. It's fine. I go ahead, deal 2 damage, restand off the Oryumon, and now Oryukin is going to activate. He's going to rewind time. We're going to go ahead, we're going to bot deck 7 cards, and yeah, we did deck out. We did go to 0 cards in deck this turn, but we're going to go ahead, rewind time, deal that last damage, and then hybrid for game. So that is the set. Alphamon is a really, really cool deck. I think it has it has some like legs in this format. I don't know if I would say it's definitely not tier 1, maybe like tier 2. But that's the Alphamon versus Shine Greymon dynamic. It's a lot of like back and forth, even though it's like on paper it's like, oh, Alphamon should crush this, but no, it's a lot closer than you think. I would definitely say it's still Alpha favorite though. So regardless, thank you all so much for watching. Apologies for not speeding up off the bat. I just forgot, but apologies. Hopefully this was still entertaining, and yeah, peace out.